A final time here at Whilton Mill. You're watching live coverage of the 2021 Club 100 Lightweight Sprint Championship. Here is your grid. Jack O'Neill has pole position for the second round in a row. Alongside him on the front row of the grid is Rihanna Percox. Peter Knight is top C2 runner and starts this race from the second row of the grid alongside the reigning champion Edward Bars. Dan Healy and Daz Teal will be looking for good results there from the third row of the grid. Steve Hicks and Josh Adams start from the fourth row of the grid. They both could be factors in this A final. Dan Seeger, who's had a really solid day so far, starts this one on the fifth row of the grid alongside Mike Coppin. Hussein Rashid and Christopher Powell are on row number 6. Alistair Irvine started the day very well, won the very first heat of the day alongside Andrew Ward on the 7th row of the grid. Adrian Mertens and Jonah Barker on row 8. James Martin and James Wattis on row number 9. And then Pietro Pagano and Callum Brule wrap out the top 20. Ashley White and Garrett Berry are starting this race from row 11. Steph Theodori and Reese Pope were the last automatic qualifiers through to this A final on the 12th row of the grid. And our two promotees confirmed from the B final are Chris Alcock and Tom Dix. They'll start on row 13.
You want to pick a winner out of those first that grid, mate? Because
Wow.
I don't want to.
and still with some, changeable conditions.
Yep, it's now no longer raining. Sun is beaming. I almost feel like bizarrely in a comms box with where we're so tucked away. I feel like putting my sunglasses on, mate.
Yeah.
It's got really quite bright in here right now, and that's because the sun is battling through the clouds to try and dry this circuit out.
I know it's sounding a little bit of a cop out. Jack O'Neill's on some really strong form. I struggle to think of another time in my years watching Jack O'Neill where I think he's raced better.
No, I know what you mean. But
and he's had the mix of conditions across the course of the weekend.
That's true. That is very true. But also, first race where we've really seen Rihanna Percox not have to work her way through the traffic before challenging the lead. So how's her pace going to be in clean air? And you can never count out Ed Bars and Peter Knight.
Well,
so much conversation.
Rogerio Mendes is punting for Peter Knight here.
Yeah. Matt Hale says,
and he nearly did it here last year, of course.
Yeah, Matt Hale. Jack O'Neill on for the triple, says he.
I'm just going to remind myself what the final result was of the sprints round. It wasn't the very final round of the year. It was earlier in there. It is. It was round 7 that we streamed last time. And yeah, Dan Healy took the win.
Who starts on row 3.
Starts on row 3. Peter Knight was second on that day. Ed Bars was third. Steve Hicks was fourth. All of them were a factor in it because those 4 were covered by 0.6 of a second on that day back in October 2020.
Yeah.
Not too dissimilar conditions. It was cold that day, so there wasn't a lot of grip around.
Plenty of water still in that cattle grid curb off to the right of your shot as we're looking at it. Drivers left as they come off the final corner. There's plenty of water in that. So if someone goes wide onto that, they're going to kick all sorts of stuff up and onto the circuit potentially.
I know we always say this about drivers who've been promoted through, but I am intrigued to see how far Chris Alcock and Tom Dix can get through this field.
Absolutely.
Because I think there was a factor in the B final that the C finalists that had got through obviously knew what the conditions were going to be before they set off. Maybe a little bit less of that effect in this race because everybody's had at least 3 or 4 laps to get themselves acclimatised. But Alcock and Tom Dix are not slow drivers, as we've seen. That's why they're in this A final. Could they get top 15? Potentially could get top 15 from here. We'll wait and see on that one. Pace kart driver telling drivers just to space out there. He's not saying how
Why
big.
don't you get?
How big is my head? That will have been a call from race control to say there's some drivers towards the back unable to get through because some drivers at the front are weaving. I think we are now good to go.
Yep.
Hand up from thumbs up from Carson. So here we go. A final time here at Whilton Mill. This circuit has a tendency of giving us some absolute crackers in A finals over the years. Is this going to be another one? Jack O'Neill, number 99, in the black and green suit, will take us from pole position. Rihanna Percox alongside on the front row. Watch those lights. 12 minutes on the clock. They're red, they're green, we're racing here at Whilton Mill. Very good start from those on the pole side of the grid. Jack O'Neill gets an absolute flyer. Peter Knight follows him through, and I think Dan Healy got a good start there as well. Yes, he did. So look at Steve Hicks coming up from the fourth row of the grid. He's already up to P4, going round the outside of Rihanna Percox. What a start that is from, as we say, the Whilton Mill specialist. Ed Bars is fighting in there alongside Daz Teal. As there's a few drivers off towards the back of the field, and there's more collisions going down into Ashby Corner. And are we good for a start? Rihanna Percox has been absolutely mugged and is down to about 7th position. Mike Coppin's not had a good start either. He's been shuffled back. There's a penalty for Daz Teal. Already a bumpered pass for number 6, but Jack O'Neill is out front with the youngster Peter Knight right on his rear axle.
Yeah, it was never going to be a full start, Andrew. We'd already passed the last. There's a post where they did deem that it's after that we will not call a full start, and they'd already gone past it by that point. Who's dropping down the order? Who was involved?
Irvin's dropping down.
Adrian Mertens was involved. Pietro Pagano, Ashley White.
Healy on the move, having a look there. No, pulls out of it. As we say, won the sprints round here at Whilton Mill in October, the last one that we streamed at this circuit, so he knows how to get around this place. But it's this top 4, and Howard, I'm getting those feelings again. This is feeling like BUKC Super Final. You've got a top 4 out front here who should just work together at this stage.
Yeah, BUKC Super Final, our Super Final Championship that we had a couple of years ago. One round of which was the first round of which was around Whilton Mill, I want to say. On that day, it was Steve Hicks who came away with the spoils, and isn't he in this fight now? They're in 4th place in the number 21 kart, just behind Dan Healy. Rihanna
Percox has got back through past Daz Teal for 5th place, but has got a lot of work to do. She's a 2.5 off the back of this quartet. Healy has another look. Is he going to go for the move down the inside? He is going to go for the move down the inside, side by side with Peter Knight. Still side by side as they go through Boxing Day, and here comes Hicks. Nips through, gets 3rd place. Classic Steve Hicks reading the situation perfectly. But what has that done, Howard? It's allowed Jack O'Neill a bit of a gap here.
And this is my thing, that for me, even though it's frantic stuff, they can't battle too much. Jack O'Neill is a real threat at the moment with the form that he is in. If you all battle over 2nd place, you're losing him. You are going to let him get on up the road. And I think, really, unless Steve Hicks really feels that he's got something in hand over Peter Knight, they would do well to work together. He's trying to tuck under there into the last sector, but he can't make it stick. It's still Jack O'Neill who leads ahead now of Peter Knight, Steve Hicks, Dan Healy, and Rihanna Percox. In 5th, Ed Bars has got past Daz Teal on that lap as well, up in 6th place. Look at the drive that Hicks has up the hill. He's surely going to have a go at 2nd place down into the inside of Christmas Corner. Yes, he is. And look at Dan Healy as well. That was a really bold turn in there from him. Had great grip. We are so definitely into dry conditions right now. And he's up to 3rd place. And Rihanna Percox has gone onto this down the inside, arrives on the scene, and immediately down the inside of Ashby Corner, up into 4th place now. Brilliant moves there in that sequence of corners.
This is a reinvigorated Rihanna Percox that's, I'm going to say it, faster than I've ever seen her drive before. Has taken a huge step up since graduating from the BUKC and last season. And she's charged onto the back here and is not out of this at all. But there is Steve Hicks. He gave the point to Dan Healy to work as a duo. They're going to be joined, as I say, by Rihanna Percox and Peter Knight. They need to work together to close down Jack O'Neill. And there's still Ed Bars as well in 6th place, the reigning champion. He's on the move.
Yeah, absolutely. James Martin, Jonah Barker just past Hussein Rashid for 11th and 12th respectively. Some good battles going on throughout the field. But this is key, Andrew. They've had their few battles. They now really need to work and try and see if they have an answer to Jack O'Neill's pace out front. Because he's for example, the fastest lap of the race at the moment with Mike Coppin, a 54.6. He's the only other driver. Chris Alcock as well are the only other 2 other drivers other than Jack O'Neill, our race leader, to dip below the 55-second mark. So these drivers have to work together now. Steve Hicks, Dan Healy, Rihanna Percox, and Peter Knight, if they can stay with them. All need to work together. Ed Bars coming up onto the back of this. He wants a better finish than last time out at Clay Pigeon, where he finished 5th. Our reigning champion does need something better than 5th if he's going to really have a successful campaign defending his title. Early doors yet in the championship, let's not get silly, but he needs to start getting those podiums.
I'm going to say something that might surprise you, but I'm 95% sure is true. Steve Hicks has never won a Club 100 Sprints A final. I know, that sounds remarkable.
What?
He's won Super Finals. We've seen that in the Super Final Championship. We've seen it in the BUKT Drivers. But he's never won one of these Sprints finals. He's come second and third many, many times. I remember that because the first Super Final victory that he had here at Whilton Mill.
Yes.
What a big monster curb hop.
He's got to be careful there.
Hicksy, be careful. And he knows that. He had his hand up there.
Yeah.
When he won the 2019 Super Final here at Whilton Mill, and he qualified through from like finishing third or fourth in the lightweight final, he said it was the first time he'd ever won a sprint final in Club 100. And it's still the only time he's ever won a sprints final in Club 100. But I say that was in the Super Final Championship, not the lightweights championship. Yes. He's still winless in this one.
Great little battle going on in the back of shot as well. Whilst we're fascinated, of course, by these top 6 karts, Daz Teal leads Josh Adams, Dan Seeger, Mike Coppin and James Martin in a fantastic battle for 6th. So keep an eye out for that on your timing towers, your timing screens, and further down the order if you're here at the circuit.
Steve Hicks has had the monster curb penalty.
Yes.
Now, for those of you watching the heavyweights,
the warning.
This is exactly the same as what Joe Holmes had. It's 1 strike and you're out. So 2 strikes and you're out. So he's had his warning. He cannot touch that curb again for the rest of these 5 minutes and 30 seconds. Cone penalty for Tom Dix.
But he was a 10th of a second faster than Jack O'Neill on that last lap. He is closing the gap to Jack O'Neill. They do have a response if they can keep this up. Whether it's enough and whether it's enough overspeed to get by once they catch him is another thing. Catching is one thing, passing is another, as the old adage goes. But this is fantastic stuff.
Tom Dix is having an unbelievable race. He's up to 14th place from the back of the grid.
Yeah.
So when we said, could someone from the B final get top 15? The answer was yes. On to go. Still can't call this one. There is Jack O'Neill out front. We mentioned it in the heavyweights earlier. There is a little bit of a slipstream effect around here. Not as big as a place, say, like Clay Pitchin.
Another 10th gone. Another 10th taken out of the lead on that one. And you can see how Hicks is just getting visibly that little bit closer. He's in the slipstream on the way up the hill. And Dan Healy doing exactly what he needs to do. He doesn't want to upset the momentum that he and Hicks have. He just wants to keep on. Go on, Steve. You keep catching. I'll go with you. And it's then that I'll start to worry about where I'm going to pounce.
Multiple pieces of contact penalty for Steph Theodorou. Unfortunately, he's down in 21st position. Steve Hicks continuing to close in. He is so consistent. As I say, it is a surprise when we say that he hasn't won a lightweight sprint A final in his time in Club 100. Because he's always in the mix. Is that duck going to be broken today?
Is it ever, or is it just this format?
Yeah. No, it's ever.
Okay, it's not like since we've gone to the...
No, the super final victory was the first big final that he'd ever won in a Club 100.
A quarter of a second taken out of him.
And he really is closing now. And here the defensive starts from Jack O'Neill. Is he going to try and do the defensive drive from 3.5 minutes out? Track limit warning for the number 18 of Ashley White. Nearly 3 wide as they go down into Ashby. Careful, chaps. Oh, this is tense, isn't it?
And 4th, 5th and 6th, Percox, Knight and Bars as well. They can see this ahead of them. They're like, let's not fight now. Let's get on to this. And they're going to. Calm. They're going to. In fact, they're practically there. Percox now, you can see, catching up onto the back of the number 2, Dan Healy kart. And again, if you're Healy, this is an awkward one because you don't want to suddenly undo the work that you and Hicks have done by putting a, And look at this, nose to tail, the top 6. O'Neill, Hicks, Healy, Percox, Knight and Bars. Any of this 6 could win this race. This is fantastic stuff here in the dire moments of Whilton Mill.
And just keep an eye on Ed Bars because he is so wise with all of this. He's not made any moves yet. He's just sitting at the back of this pack and was just waiting to pick him off as Percox trying to go around the outside of Healy. For 3rd place, she's got it. What an unbelievable overtake that was from Rihanna Percox. O'Neill defensive down into Ashby again. Still Hicks there in 2nd place.
Ed Bars past Peter Knight, Andrew through Ashby as well. Good little move there. Peter Knight just got checked up a little bit behind Dan Healy as he tried to gather it up again after the Percox overtaking it allowed Ed Bars through.
2.5 minutes to go. Wilton Mill is serving up another classic and Jack O'Neill is giving Steve Hicks the death stare there.
Is he going to look ahead of him? That's I've never seen anyone look behind him for so long.
Mr. O'Neill.
I can't do that. I start listing to the right or left if I do that. Here they come. Onto another lap. Hicks still in the wheel tracks of Jack O'Neill. Can he get a run up the hill this time?
He's got a bit of a gap as well to Percox behind. Big defensive move from O'Neill. And it's a strong one. Nothing Hicks can do about that. That's one of the things I love about this circuit. You can defend a lead round here. Produces some fantastic racing. O'Neill defensive again. Percox right on the rear bumper. Yeah, she's very good on the brakes.
I almost thought she was going to have a look into Wilkins then. Is there an opportunity into Osiers? Jack O'Neill's surely going to have to defend. Yes, he is. Is there a switchback opportunity onto the back straight that allows Hicks to carry more speed on? Again, O'Neill is driving by looking behind him, but he's positioning the car beautifully so far, Andrew, to deter any effort here. Does Hicks get a switchback here? He does, but he can't tuck his nose under at the moment.
2 more laps. 2 more laps here in the lightweight sprint A final for Club 100 2021 at Whilton Mill. Can Jack O'Neill hold on for another minute and a half? It would be his second A final victory of the season, having taken round 1 at Clay Pigeon a few weeks ago. Steve Hicks, Rihanna Percox, Dan Healy now trying to go round the outside of Rihanna Percox, and he's going to have the inside for Boxing Day. He's got it.
Returns
and through goes Ed Bars and Peter Knight as well. Percox shuffled down to 6th place. Now Dan Healy down the inside of Steve Hicks, pushing him wide, has got through and into 3rd place. Here he comes, the reigning champion. This is what I thought he might do. There's still 1 more lap and still Jack O'Neill leads.
Brilliant stuff there. Dan Healy returning the fact, getting past in exactly the same manner as Percox, but Percox I think has recovered a little bit as well as she got by on Hicks now in the background. Have to see as they come round. Yes, she has. So Hicks is down to 6th because Peter Knight, and look at this, everyone else has arrived as well. Josh Adams, Mike Coppin, Daz Till, James Martin are all part of this train as we're on the last lap of the weekend.
Can Jack O'Neill make it 2 out of 2 in the lightweight sprints? Dan Healy, can he take another A final win in a streamed round? Tries to do the dummy. Jack O'Neill defends. He's got through 1 overtaking opportunity. That's Christmas done. Next one is Ashby. He's going to go to the inside again. Ed Bard's looking to the outside now, trying to go round the outside. Rihanna Percox side by side as they come off of Ashby corner. This is an unbelievable race once again here in Club 100. Still Jack O'Neill leads it. He's got to chop down. He does chop down. There's just a couple more opportunities for this whole pack to get past Jack O'Neill. He's defending again into the boots. He's going to do it, surely. That's the initial entry done. Just tow it round the toe of the boot. Jack O'Neill is going to take one of the most unbelievable victories I've ever seen from him. Jack O'Neill wins at Whilton Mill. Dan Healy 2nd. Ed Bars 3rd. Rihanna Percox 4th. Peter Knight takes C2 and 5th overall. Steve Hicks is 4th. There's a big wide moment for Pietro Pagano on the last corner. Josh Adams 7th. Mike Coppin 8th. Daz Teal 9th. James Martin 10th. The top 10, Howard, is covered by 1.852 seconds. My goodness.
That was amazing. That was an amazing way to finish off the weekend. That is... Gosh, it's only the first stream round. We can't have seen Race of the Year already, can we? That was absolutely incredible stuff. And I tell you something now, if Jack O'Neill goes on to win this championship, it's because of his ability to handle that situation and win on a day like that.
And cleanly as well. Good sportsmanship there between O'Neill and Hicks. Let's just go through the rest of the results because there's other key results that we need to cover. Dan Seeger, 11th. That's 2nd in C2. Hussein Rashid, 12th, 3rd in C2. Jonah Barker, 13th. Tom Dix, 14th. What a drive that is from the B final. 15th, Alistair Irvin. 16th, Christopher Powell. 17th for James Wattis. 18th, Steph Theodorou. 19th for winner of the B final, Chris Alcock. Ashley White in 20th place. Garrett Berry, 21st. Reese Pope, 22nd. Pietro Pagano, 23rd. Lost positions on the last lap. Callum Brule, 24th. Andrew Ward, his bad luck in A-finals, particularly streamed A-finals, continues. 25th, and it was a big loss on the last lap as well, with a 61-second lap. Adrian Mertens finished in 26th place.
I've got to say, you were talking about how the top 10 separated by about 1.8 seconds. Like 10 seconds separated the top 16.
Yeah.
It's so close throughout the whole field. And with the exception of Mertens fell off the back a bit, we saw the spin near the beginning that put him some 30 seconds back. Otherwise, everyone covered by less than 18 seconds. That is an incredible A final.
Thank you for all your comments and your support. I mean, yeah, just read through some of them. Greg Smith says, what a race. Skin Dog, what an exciting race. Jonathan Hall, great defending. Bacon sums it up brilliantly. Now, this is why I love racing. Luke Battersby, Batters Racing Company, that was a damn good race. Epic defending by Jack. And as I say, to do that, we've seen several drivers try and do that, Howard, over the years, do what I like to call the Gandalf. I can't remember many better than what we've just seen there from Jack O'Neill. Sometimes, you see people try and defend it out from 4 or 5 minutes, and they lose it in the last lap or the last two.
Yes.
But that was a stupendous show from Jack O'Neill.
That was superb stuff, mate. You and I have covered a lot of races around this Whilton Mill circuit, and that one was right up there for me. That was a fantastic display right there from some of the best. And we haven't got a super final style format here, so we haven't got the creme de la creme of the heavyweights that we had this morning. But that was absolutely superb.
Yeah.
From some of the best Club 100 drivers in the country, no doubt about it. And when I say best Club 100 drivers, I do basically say some of the best kart drivers in the country right now. That was absolutely fantastic.